Hi everyone. So 2025 in fashion, a lot happened, and most of it was whatever. I think it was a very big year for fashion. I mean, obviously we had like a series of major new creative director debuts. I think we got some really interesting collections. I think we discovered a few designers that absolutely sort of stuck with us. A lot of drama also happened, I mean, a lot of hiring, firings, a lot of corporate drama and a lot of AI takeover, unfortunately. But I think this was a big year for fashion, and I think we're definitely gonna remember this at least in the near future, and is sort of going to serve as a reference point for quite a few things that have happened. But today I just wanted to talk about what is the worst that happened in this industry over this year, right? I mean, there are some pretty questionable and horrible things that have happened, but I think five things have happened that have like really stuck out to me. I think just gonna go through that today and see why I hate all of them. And yeah, I think just want to be a hater in this video, and I just wanted to sort of, have someone to hate along with. So yeah, let's hate together. So, okay, let's go. So, I made a list actually. I'll just go to that. Easiest thing to do. Worst things that happened to fashion in 2025. Okay. So, first, oh my god, I forgot what the first one is. First is a classic. I mean, Met Gala. I mean, you don't even need to be into fashion to appreciate the Met Gala. I mean, the Met Gala is one of the biggest things that there are, and in fashion culture, beauty, celebrity, and like a million things, it represents a lot. It represents where we are at. It represents the growth of the industry, the growth of so many things. It represents, sorry, fashion designers all over the world. It's a big platform for upcoming creatives to sort of really have their moment. It's such a big deal for celebrities also. I mean, Met Gala is a cultural moment. Every May, we are all just going insane. It is a meme fest. It's a major gets me insane coverage. I mean, we all know Met Gala. I don't think I need to go on more about that. And of course, this time, first two things. First is, let's get it out of the way. The theme for this year's Met Gala is costume art. Costume art. Yes, you heard that correct. And I don't like why, why. I mean, it just looks like they were trying to write a description for what the Met Gala is, and then they just came up with these two words, and they were like, you know what, we don't want to think of a theme this time. Let's just put something just for the sake of it. Or maybe they were told that you need to decide a new theme at 9:15 in the morning, and they needed the new theme by 9:20, and they were like, fuck it. And that is so shocking because we have had some amazing themes. I think Heavenly Bodies is obviously my favorite theme. I think one of the best themes Met Gala has ever had. The recent theme around tailoring was also really nice. They've had some amazing themes, and just why. And possible reason why is because this exhibition is now being sponsored by, of course, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez Bezos. Bezos, of course, you all know, the Amazon guy. Lauren, the woman who's trying to get into fashion. She's actually been wearing a lot of archival pieces, and obviously the Vogue wedding cover. There's a lot of sort of gossip around if they are buying Condé Nast altogether, which a lot of people thought that this would be a big sign of them actually purchasing the uh, firm, like the company. I don't know. I mean, that definitely does seem like it can happen, but I don't know what to think at this point. But that is a conversation for another day. But them being the sponsors for this is first a signifier of how billionaires will do anything and everything to get some cultural capital, to get some say in what people are doing, to be a bit more engaged part of society without actually doing something. And it's just a way to purchase culture. I mean, like, hey, you want to go and shop for the Met Gala. You want the Met Gala, I got it for you. I don't know what. But I think it was really sad to see such an institution being sponsored by billionaires that we can't expect anything from. I think, yeah, that's definitely not a good sign for the industry. But let's move to the next one. This I really hated. I think that's why it's in the first one. I did hate that. I was just upset. But yeah. Second is Dario Vitale exiting Versace. This again was a very it's actually very sad. So, Dari Vitale was announced the creative director of Versace earlier this year. He put out a collection, I think, in when was the Fashion Week? October, November, October-ish. And it was a collection that a lot of people hated on. I will not say that it was my favorite collection of the season, but I do think it was good. In fact, I wrote a very positive review for that, I remember. And I actually remember that review word for word. It was baffling to me that people were hating on that collection so much because, of course, it's not like it's a new creative director, so it was not going to be for everyone. But I thought it was a strong collection. It was a good debut collection, and I think he did not deserve all the hate that he was getting. I think that was a bit unfair, but forget the collection. So another thing that was going on simultaneously was apparently Prada was in talks with Versace to purchase the company. And 2 days after the merger acquisition paperwork was like finalized, when it was like official, Dario Vitale exiting Versace news was out. And that was like insanely fast. I mean, they didn't even wait for it to announce. But I'm assuming, actually, I don't know. A lot of people said that the collection was the reason that he is out, but I really, really, really don't think that was it. And I think I saw couple of people saying the same thing because I don't think the collection was that bad. In fact, I think it was the kind of collection that Prada as a brand would appreciate, even though I do agree that it was not in line with the Versace that we are used to seeing, especially with Donatella as the creative director. I think it was very definitely a very clear, different aesthetic direction. But I do think it was a good collection, and I also don't think that was the reason that this switch up happened. But regardless, it was very sad because it's just the most obvious clear representation of these designer musical chairs that we keep on joking about, and how for us it's just a article, but I think for people it's there. I mean, being a one season creative director at one of the biggest fashion houses is kind of, I don't know how he would deal with that. And even if it's not his fault, I think it was very sort of sad to see that happen. I mean, I think there were much better ways to put it. I mean, obviously they had some sort of negative. There was something that happened which I don't know, no one will ever know. But I think it's very embarrassing for the brand, Versace and Prada both. And if this was like a regular job, if it was me at like a regular job where I just joined a company for a couple of months and then quit, it's the kind of thing that you won't even like put on your CV. You'll just make up like, I was on a break, I was doing an online course, I had a family emergency. But how publicized it is, it's insane. And it's obviously they were waiting for the acquisition confirmation to drop, like the merger acquisition. And the minute that the confirmation dropped, they just announced this as well. And I mean, are we like really? And if it was about the collection, which I don't think it was, but maybe it played like a role in the decision making. But if it was, then it's even more sadder because are we like really not giving any chance for designers to explore or learn or be creative? I mean, yes, I know it's a business, but come on. I mean, and shocking backstory, I forgot to mention that Dario Vitale is actually from the Prada house. I can't believe I forgot this. But he was actually a senior designer, lead designer at Miu Miu. And Miu Miu, as we all know, has been one of the hottest brands in the latest year. So he basically quit his job at Miu Miu, came to Versace, and Prada acquired Versace, and then he left Versace. So I'm assuming that there was some bad blood, or maybe Prada was upset that they left them in the first place, or maybe he didn't want to work with Prada again, so that's why he left when the acquisition was confirmed. It can be a million things. And I think it was shocking because I don't think he's a bad designer. He's obvious. Miu Miu is amazing, and Miu Miu has had one of the most amazing growth trajectories in fashion and luxury, and we cannot undermine his role there. I mean, obviously we all don't know who came up with what specific idea, but he was a major part of that whole revamp and sort of this new Mew. So obviously he has the skills to do the job, but I think there was definitely some internal tension that led to this. But I definitely feel that this was not a good sign for the industry. So the next thing that we are going to see happen is, oh my god, what is it? Oh, can we just skip this one because it's giving me whiplash. I hated this collection. I was very clear about it. It just it just triggered me. I would not even say that I'm a big Jean Paul Gaultier fan, but of course I've been following the house for a while, and I absolutely loved their sort of one season collabs with these designers. Simone Rocha was amazing. Um, I think every collab that they did with all these emerging designers for couture was amazing. And I think the standards were too high, the direction was set too different. But this was a very, this felt very anti brand to me. If he had done this collection for his own label, Duran, I mean, the new creative director who basically, in his debut collection, if he had done this collection and especially these looks for his own collection, for his own label, I think they might even have gotten some positive appreciation or could have become like viral. But for Jean Paul Gaultier, it was a big no. It was an instant no. And it was just because it was not on brand. It was just not the designer, it was not the brand. And it just felt very regressive. I mean, these visuals are very regressive towards women, I feel. And it was very disappointing because I actually have been loving Duran's work. I think especially his first runway collection, I absolutely loved it. I even loved his last collection with all those like sort of clownish shaped structures. And I think this was just very disappointing. And it just didn't reflect. You cannot get any sense of direction. I mean, it's not even about the clothes. I mean, even if you don't like the clothes or styling or whatever of the collection, you can still sense a direction or a vision for the brand. But I think this collection didn't have anything. It was just done purely for shock value, purely for headlines maybe, and it didn't have any direction. It was a very directionless, it felt like a student collection that was made in like half an hour because your professor was standing at the, you know, door and you just had to submit something and you just did whatever. It was really disappointing. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. The Timmy cover. I think this might actually be the one of the worst Vogue covers in the history. First of all, horrible styling. I don't know what is this. Individually, these jeans might be fun. This is just bad styling. I don't know what is that expression. It's just not the right one. Even the headline, if you read it, it's so weird. The universe according to Timothy, my superpower is my fearlessness. It looks like some cult content. It's just a bad cover. It's AI, obviously. Why is he standing on a floating planet? Is that supposed to be Earth? Is that sky? Is that water? Is that ocean? Is that what is that? It's just it means nothing. It communicates nothing. Even if they did want to go with that cosmos, like out of this world extraterrestrial cosmo option, that there were like a million things they could have done. And one thing that I'm actually thinking of right now is that Ariana Grande video where she's sitting on top of the earth or something and she's playing around with it. That was actually so fun. And that was a million times work, and that is so cringe in itself, but that's also a million times work better than this. This was just, I don't know what it was. It was just like, it feels like the draft one. It feels like something that they hadn't had on the mood board and they just like fuck it. Or maybe they just had too much expectation out of the Timothy fan club and they were like, the fans are gonna carry this one. I don't know if they did because I don't know anyone who liked this cover. I literally don't know one person who liked it. But yeah, it was bad. Now we're moving on to the fifth thing, which is Valentino and AI. So Valentino, when I made this post, Valentino had done uh, an AI campaign. So they collabed with an artist and sort of put out this really horrible AI video clip promoting their bag. It was not a good video. Gucci has done a sort of AI video, which is in fact even worse than Valentino. And today, I just discovered, I was just recording another video before this where I was especially talking about AI and luxury. And the Prada video is also out. So, I mean, three big brands have already used AI. It's traumatizing. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't think these brands are going to stop. They've already embraced it. They're loving it. They're probably saving money like crazy on this. Because all you need is a mid journey or a subscription, right? How much is that compared to like paying someone a salary or booking a location and doing whatnot. So yeah, congrats on all the money you saved, guys. But this is just depressing. Coming from brands who are supposed to be the pioneers and the tastemakers of fashion and luxury. So yeah, this is really sad. It- when this came out, it was a sad day for creatives all over the world, I feel, especially in fashion. But I think now the way that it's becoming even more mainstream is, in fact, even more depressing. But you know brands are going to be brands. Brands are going to be a business first, and that's the excuse that they're going to give us when they do all this stuff. um, so yeah, what to do. So these are some of the things that I absolutely hated that happened. There was, there is potentially one more. Potentially, I mean, it is in the list, but to be honest, I don't know enough about it. But I'm just gonna tell you guys as a bonus thing that I hated, because I hate a lot. But I think this was definitely worth hating upon. So, if you know Lockheed Martin, the defense contractor, one of the biggest defense contractors in the world, um, has started selling streetwear. Yes, I did not misspeak. You heard me right. Lockheed Martin, one of the biggest defense contractors and aerospace manufacturers, based it's in, and of course it's a US company, has started selling streetwear. And sorry. I mean, I made this whole post about it, but in gist, it's just a way to generalize, normalize war. And I read it somewhere that in 2000, early 2000s, there was this whole camo trend that was happening, and the whole reason that everyone in the country was pushing this trend is because they wanted people to be more comfortable with the idea of war, and camo was like a signifier of that, and they just wanted to normalize it a bit, and that was so subtle, and that was not good, right? I mean, that's even worse. But people used to do it so subtly, but now it's so brazen. The way that people approach changing consumer preferences and changing mindsets is so brazen that it's even sadder. And I mean, can you just imagine walking down the street and you see someone in a t-shirt and it says Lockheed Martin, a company that is responsible for God knows how many atrocities in this world. I mean, what are they thinking? Who's gonna buy all this? And the industry reaction was, of course, as you would expect it to be, which is thank God. I mean, I am so happy that no one like was like, oh my God, that's such a cool outfit. And one thing I'll show you. Look at their collection. It's called Mission. They're just trying to generalize these words. I mean, what is next going to be? Genocide version 1 or maybe murder version 2. I mean, it's pathetic the way that they are even naming these collections, and you can see those sort of military aesthetics here. I mean, the textures, the colors, the sort of subtle sort of pop of color. I don't know, to signify maybe, I don't know, the badges or something. And it's really sad. It's sad. I mean, this was a sad day for me to learn about it, and this is something I really hated. And I feel I need more time to process this news and sort of research on it a bit more to get a better. And I mean, we all know that it's horrible, and we also know why it's horrible. But I just need to learn more about this business brand, and maybe, and I'm sure we have been victims of behavior like this from companies before. and we probably don't even know about it. I mean, and after discovering this news, I need to go in like a rabbit hole and learn more about what these companies are up to, and am I involved in anything or not. God forbid I am, I'm gonna kill myself. But yeah, it's very depressing. That was my last hate of the day. So yeah, I think, yeah, that was about it. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.